Now, 7 Israelis have been arrested on suspicion of spying for Iran. Israeli prosecutors say they carried out 600 missions for Tehran. Israel's state attorney says the suspects gathered intelligence on sensitive military and infrastructure sites, including the Golani Brigade base. 4 Israeli soldiers were killed in a Hezbollah drone strike there just last week. Let's go to Elijah Magnier. He's a military and political analyst joining us from Brussels. Elijah, can we now link the Golani base attack, which killed 4 Israeli soldiers, with this intelligence gathered by these spies for Iran?
We can, because Iran is collecting information against Israel that is considered as an enemy, and Hezbollah, an Iranian ally, is engaged in a war against Israel. Therefore, any small piece and bit of information is useful in this war to attack Israel and to make sure that also Israel suffered the damage that Lebanon is suffering, and also Hezbollah.
And when you look at the details of what has been revealed in terms of what the spies managed to obtain, photos, videos of many of the Israeli Defense Force bases around the country, their ports, energy infrastructure in Israel, all while the country was in the middle of an active war. How massive a security breach is this?
It's a massive breach because it shows the depth of Iranian intelligence infiltration into Israel, because we're talking about 2 years of espionage period, over 600 missions pointing out to the counterintelligence gaps in Israeli security, as extensive operation likely involved significant surveillance of key military targets, taking pictures, collecting information from human resources, collecting information about Iron Dome and the Golan Brigade and other forces bases. So we understand that this scale of infiltration without detection for 2 years is a serious red flag for Israeli counterintelligence services, and it underscores a serious breach, raising question about how Iran has managed to maintain such a deep network of operative across different demographic groups in Israel for such a long time, going backward and forward and delivering a vast amount of information throughout these 2 years and 600 missions that were commissioned.
Elijah, I just want to turn now to Gaza and show our viewers again this video which has emerged showing crowds of forcibly displaced Palestinians at a military checkpoint in Jabalia today in northern Gaza. Witnesses saying that men have been separated from their families, many have been detained. What do you think is going on here?
I think the Israelis are destroying the upper part of the north of Gaza when they have split Jabalia camp and Jabalia city, Beit Hanun, Beit Lahia, and Shate, destroying every single house, going into the camp and forcing the people to be dislodged from the north toward the Gaza city when they assign them a road considered safe, and they're firing at them. This is a deja vu. We've seen that in the past when Israel instructed all the inhabitants of the north to go towards the south and then open fire against them. And then these people found no place to go, and they were forced to displace more than 8 times. This is why people lost confidence in following the Israeli instructions or orders to move from the north of Gaza into the Gaza city, because there is no other place to go. And in Gaza city, the situation is not safe. It's not even better. It is worse than the north. This is why the Israeli action gives no reassurance that they are looking after the civilians. On the contrary, they've been slaughtering the civilians, according to President Joe Biden, who said there are too many civilians killed, and Israel continue with this massacre of civilians without accountability.
I mean, the suspicion amongst Palestinians, the United Nations and many other relief agencies on the ground is that the Israeli army is gradually adopting some sort of tactic to clear northern Gaza, and they're calling it the general's plan. Can you explain to our audience what exactly that is and whether you think that is indeed being carried out?
Well, we will use the words of Foreign Minister Benny Gantz, who said that the Israeli Prime Minister intends to create settlement in the north of Gaza when he promised us, and he's talking about himself and his party, that this is not going to happen. So according to the Israeli officials, the Israeli army under Benjamin Netanyahu instruction are really destroying the north of Gaza to make sure that it is no man's land for the Israeli later on to settle settlements on these lands under the excuse of a kind of a buffer zone that is going to be at least 5 kilometers wide, or the depth of Gaza from the borders to the sea. Therefore, what we see is a kind of ethnic cleansing and forceful dislodging of the Palestinian people to force another exodus on them and move them to an unsafe area and then start again in the other part of Gaza that is again in the north, in the Gaza city, to make sure that half of Gaza is empty of its inhabitant. And the problem is that the United Nations and the Western community is not doing anything to stop the Israeli plan.
OK, thank you for that. Elijah Magnier, military and political analyst there in Brussels.
Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.